Namaste! Today we are going to watch top 10 official reasons for failing the driving test in UK. So these are going to be very interesting reasons because like in UK there is not just simple test like in India, like in Surat in where I live there is a test like where you have to drive through 4 tests and 4 things you have to do. Like one you have to do is a parallel parking, the other you have to like go through a hill and then you have to like complete it, and then there is an 8 that you have to do with your car, and then there is a reverse S parking. That's it. These 4 things you have to do, and then you are given pass in the test. And if you like crash into something or if you fail it and if you're not able to do it, then you have failed. So it is very simple. But in UK I know that there is a person that sits next to you and they check on you and they check on everything, that how do you drive, how do you look into the mirrors, how you do everything. So there will be some many different kind of reasons to, I think so, fail or pass a person. So I am very interested to know this, and this is very good way. I think so India should also implement it, because in India there is this money things works a lot. Like you can give the money to agent and he will make sure that he will pass you in the test, and that is why you see how we drive in India. We are fucking crazy. So let's see how this video goes.
And seriously, I'm also so much excited to watch this video, as Bhavan said that yes, it is very easy to get license in India, driving license in India, but I do think that it should not be that much easy to get license, because firstly, if you are not a good driver and you are driving in the roads, then obviously it is also dangerous for you and it is also dangerous for the other people. So it should be, I do think that it should be very difficult to I do think that the test or the driving test should be very difficult, because firstly it would be, obviously if the test would be difficult, then definitely we know that this driver has cleared the test. Now we have to say that he is a good driver, and I do believe that the people who can drive in the hills are good drivers. And as I told you that I belong from the hilly area, like I belong from the North India. So basically here are so many hills, and if the people are if people can drive in the hills, then I do think that they can drive everywhere, especially in the plain, because I do think that it is very easy to drive in the plain area as compared to into the mountains. So yeah, I'm so much excited to watch this video. I'm so much excited to know that why UK driving tests are so difficult and what people have to do into it. So yeah, let's watch the video.
I think so. Like at that point of time when we were colonized by the UK, so I think so. If that point of time we had cars and all these things, so I think so UK people would have instilled these kind of things into us, and they would have made sure that we follow all the driving rules and lessons. But yes, we did it ourselves and we are doing it crazily. So let's see what are the top 10 reasons for failing the UK driving test.
The top 10 reasons for failing the driving test in the UK. These are not my top 10 reasons, but the official DVSA reasons taken from literally hundreds of thousands of failed tests.
Oh.
These statistics were published in 2021. Reason number 1, the most common reason for failing the driving test in the UK, which seems to be the most common every year, is not making effective observations at junctions.
Oh.
The DVSA claim that a common cause of failure at junctions is pulling out in front of people and making them slow down. When you're pulling out of a junction, you need to have good enough judgment that you know whether or not you're going to make the cars approaching brake for you.
Wow.
If you make them brake a small amount, you may get away with it. But if you continue to do it, you will most likely fail. If you make them brake a lot, then you will most likely fail straight away.
Oh my god.
This is not just T-junctions, but all junctions, including roundabouts or even turning right at traffic lights with oncoming cars. Another common...
In India, what people do is, like, what they do is when they are turning, so like what he said was like, if you move slightly and if the other person has to brake a little, then also it is very bad. But India, what they do is they continuously start to do that till the time the other person brakes, and if he brakes, then we go and like make sure we are on the turn and we are on the road. So it is very, very bad in India. So it is just like the person tries to continuously tempt you, like he will bring his car slowly out of the turn, so that are you brave enough to go ahead and just like go for the road, or are you brave enough, or are you like, okay, like let him go, and you put the brakes on, let him go. So this is very weird in India.
Cause of failure for observations at junctions is simply not observing at all. Often happens in situations like this where it looks like you can carry on straight and the only way you know you need to give way is via the lines on the road. Many new drivers simply sail straight across a junction like this without looking both left and right for cars that could be approaching.
Yeah.
Of course, this would result in a test fail. People also fail for not making any observations for joining a dual carriageway via a slip road. That's even more scary. Link to a video in the top right hand corner of your screen on joining motorways and dual carriageways via a slip road. Another reason is only looking right, not left, when turning left. Many new drivers do this because they're worried about what's coming from the right. However, to pull out with only looking right is dangerous because anyone on the left could still be coming. They could be overtaking parked cars, or there could even be someone crossing the road on the left. So make sure you look both ways when you're turning left, not just right.
You know, in India, this is not an option. You have to do that because there will be other person coming from the wrong side, or there might be a cow coming from the wrong side. So this is not an option. We have to do that. We have to look both sides because any people are driving on any place or any street.
And the final reason they give for failing on observations at junctions is looking too late. And what they mean by that is simply going past the line before you start checking. Make sure you start checking it's safe before you cross the line at the junction.
Very good.
Number 2, the second most common cause of failing is not using mirrors correctly when changing direction. The DVSA say this is often a problem on roundabouts because when you're turning right at a roundabout, you're normally in the right lane. But when you need to leave a roundabout, quite often you need to move to the left lane. And you need to check your mirrors to make sure it's safe before you change lane. And apparently, many people forget to do that. The DVSA also say it's quite common to fail the test for trying to change lane without making effective observations on normal roads, not just roundabouts. For example here, you've got to check your mirrors before you change lane and make sure you don't make anyone coming up beside you brake. Number 3, not having proper control of the steering. And you can be forgiven for believing that means keeping your hands at 10 to 2 and moving the steering wheel in some particular manner. But in actual fact, the examiners are very relaxed with how you use the wheel. How you use the steering wheel is rarely the problem. It's usually either turning too little, too much, too early, or too late.
Or using one hand.
A classic example is hitting the curb when you turn left. Learners get too near the curb, steer too much, and then mount the curb with the rear wheel. Another example is turning too late, and that means you can end up going on the wrong side of the road and needing to swan neck to come back to your side of the road. As long as you keep both hands on the steering wheel as much as possible and maintain good control of the wheel when using it, how you use it is not that important. It's how much you steer and when you steer that counts. Link in the top right hand corner of your screen for steering tips at junctions. Number 4 is incorrect positioning when turning right at junctions. This is usually to do with positioning to the left when you're turning right. A good example is not using one of these waiting areas in the middle properly, either only half going in or not going in at all. Waiting in the middle here allows people space to pass on the left. Another example is at a mini roundabout where you have room to position yourself to the right when turning right, which allows room for cars to pass you on your left. If there's room for you to do this, you should. You will also fail for this fault if you turn right at a roundabout and use the incorrect lane. Now it's time for number 5, which is not moving off safely. One way people fail for this is trying to move away from the side of the road with an oncoming car and there's not room for both you and the oncoming car. If that's the case, you should wait for the oncoming car to clear before you get going. This can also happen when moving away from the wrong side of the road with oncoming traffic. Don't make people brake or swerve when you're moving away. People also fail for not moving off safely if they don't check the relevant blind spot before moving away. You want to check the roadside blind spot So if you're on the right hand side of the road like I am now, I'll check the left blind spot, but normally you're going to be on the left hand side of the road in the UK, then you'll be checking the right hand blind spot. You won't fail for missing a blind spot or two, but if you repeatedly don't check your blind spots, you will fail. You also fail for this fault if you don't make any rearward checks after your emergency stop. When you've done the emergency stop, the examiner will then ask you to carry on. Before you carry on, check both blind spots because you're no longer parked next to the curb. Number 6,
nice.
Not responding appropriately to traffic lights. Some ways people fail at traffic
Appropriately?
lights is for either not going when it's green or going when it's red,
Like it's
not waiting
safe
in the middle
area.
for oncoming cars as
Like
these
traffic
cars are
lights.
now. They simply drive in front of them and make them brake. That's quite a common mistake actually. Or when there is an opportunity for that red car in front of me to turn right because there's a brake in the cars, they don't take the opportunity. The examiners don't expect you to take the hard ones, only the easy ones. Also, going ahead at a green light when your exit road is blocked and therefore you're going to be stuck in the middle indefinitely. You should just wait. Once you've got a green arrow, the oncoming cars will stop and you can continue.
Oh,
The
wow.
light went amber as I was crossing the line there. If that happens, carry on. Another common cause of failure at traffic lights is not stopping at the first line on the cycle box. I call them cycle boxes because it makes sense. They're actually called advanced stop lines, but you should stop at the first line here, not the last. You can stop at the last if it goes amber as you're crossing the first and you don't have time to cross the second line before it goes red. In that situation, it's okay. I actually have a video I put a lot of time into for how
Wow.
people fail on traffic lights. I'll leave a link to it in the top right hand corner of your screen.
These things are
Number
crazy.
7, poor positioning on the road during normal driving.
Poor positioning.
Here are 3 ways you can fail on this fault. Not staying
Oh,
in the middle
no,
of
you're
the
so
lane. It's quite
particular.
normal for learners to be really left of their lane. Being in the right lane of a dual carriageway when there's no reason for you to be there. For example, you're not about to turn right and you're not overtaking. Or straight lining a roundabout, which is when you don't stay in your lane on the roundabout and you end up cutting people up. Here's an example. I get to the roundabout, I must steer to the left to stay in my lane. If I go straight across where the white car is, I'll be cutting people up. Number
Wow.
8, not responding correctly to traffic signs. Here are a few ways you can fail for this fault. One is not responding to a stop sign or no entry sign. That one's all the way up there in the sky, which I think is quite ridiculous. When you get to a stop line with a stop sign, you should actually come to a complete stop. You can't just give way. Another is going right of a keep left sign. Here's a keep left sign. We should go past on the left, not the right. Same here where the island is. We should be passing this island on the left where the keep left sign is, not on the right of it. Another is
It is
driving
like a
in bus
constant
lanes
puzzle
and
that
bus
you have to
gates
solve.
during their hours of operation. For example, there's signs here saying that only buses, taxis, motorbikes and cyclists can go. It says bus gate on the road there as well, so I can't go forwards, therefore I have to go up there.
Wow.
The DVSA say people also fail in this fault for choosing the wrong lane at a roundabout when the signs are very clear, making it obvious which lane you need. And also people fail in this fault for not responding to speed limit signs early enough, if at all. Now it's time for number 9, not having control of the vehicle when moving off.
Moving off.
People often fail on this fault for stalling.
What does that mean?
Not stalling once or twice during the course of your test, but repeatedly stalling many times throughout your test. Or repeatedly stalling in a short period of time. For example, you're at a traffic light, it goes green, and you just keep stalling, and it takes you many attempts to get the car moving. The DVSA say that another common reason people fail in this fault is for rolling back. And they say the reason why they roll back is because they forget to select a gear. So they put the clutch down, get some gas ready, lift the clutch up thinking they have the bite point, when obviously there's no bite point there at all. You can't have the bite point without a gear. They make sure it's safe to move away. And then they take the handbrake off, the car starts rolling back, they come off the clutch completely, rev the engine, don't actually go anywhere, and roll back considerably. If you roll back a tiny bit during your driving test, then you will still most likely pass. But if you roll back what they deem as a considerable amount, then you will fail. What is a considerable amount though? Well, that's the opinion of the examiner. So best to avoid all rolling back. And finally, we've made it to number 10 of the top 10. Not keeping control of the vehicle during reverse parking. When the DVSA say control, they don't only mean control, they also mean accuracy. So you can fail for lack of control during your manoeuvre. For example, you're parking on a hill and the car keeps rolling the wrong way and you're not able to manage that hill. But you can also fail for lack of accuracy. For example, taking too many attempts to finish parking, or when you're doing the parallel park, you mount the curb, or when you're parking the car park, you don't keep it in between the lines. If you're crooked or touch one of the lines, then you should still pass. But if you're over one of the lines, then you will fail. The examples I've used in this video for the top 10 reasons for failing driving tests in the UK are not just examples I've plucked from thin air, but they are the actual official DVSA examples.
I don't know, either UK people are too much particular about their driving test, or either we just do not care about it. In India, it is just mostly like clutch, brake, race. That's it. If you know all of these things, you can go and just fire those car out. But the thing is, like in UK, everything is taken care of. Like you have to look in your mirrors, you have to look this and that. Everything is too much taken care of, and that should be the way. Actually, I also believe. But if these tests are brought into India, and if these 10 points are followed in India, then I can surely say that about 80 to 90% of Indian drivers would not be able to pass the test, because that's how difficult these things are for an Indian driver to do. I would say like many experienced drivers, because of their experience, would be able to do that. But if you do that to all the new people that are coming into driving, then there will be very, very hard. Like I see many people who just do not know proper driving or manners, but they still pass the test, and they are coming onto the road and they are making the roads more dangerous for everyone, like for other drivers and for themselves also. But yes, these tests, or these, like the way they are, like okay, like if you do not follow the signs, if you do not follow the traffic lights, if there is a green light, if you don't go, then also everything is noticed, and then your marks are given, and there is a high chance that you might fail the test. So these are literally, and do let us know like how many times have you failed the test in the comment.
Seriously, we have to say that it is very, very difficult to clear this test, and they were, it's not like that they are very, it's like that they are very particular about the small details of it, and we Indian doesn't care about it. Like when this guy said it is very compulsory for the UK people to drive to park the car in that line, I got literally shocked that it's not same in India. And literally, as Parvin said it, if this rule will impose in India, then definitely, if this test will impose in India, then definitely 80 to 90% of the people would not be able to clear this test, because it is so difficult that UK people, if we talk about Indians, so we Indians do not care about the traffic lights. We just care about the traffic lights because of the because of the money, because we have to pay the money to the driver, to the police. That's the reason we just care about the traffic lights and all. Otherwise, if there would not be any punishment of ads, and definitely we Indians would definitely break the traffic lights, and we would not care about it. But seriously, I'm so shocked after watching this video that it's not like that only 10% or 20% of the people are following these rules. It's like that 80 to 90% of the UK and United Kingdom people are following this rule, which is insane. And I do think that it is very, very, we have to say that this test was so difficult for every people. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this video, and I got to know a lot of things from this video.
And so do let us know what are your opinions about this video, and if everybody follows these ways, so I think so there would be very, very less accidents in UK. So what are your opinions about it? Do let us know in the comment section. So do like, share, and bye.